I'm Brenda O'Donnell, and this is the Sunrise Today show. I'm so happy to be here today. First and foremost, I have to thank Daytona Beach News Journal for allowing us to be here. They've had this home show for over 20 years, and it's such a privilege and an honor for them to invite us and have us as a guest today. So a big thanks and a big round of applause to the Daytona Beach News Journal. Also, a super special thanks to Palmer College of Chiropractic. They totally set us up today. This beautiful stage setting is due to them. They're making us shine. So thank you to Palmer College of Chiropractic. Big applause. So I'm Brenda O'Donnell, inspired living by Brenda.com, and no show would ever be complete without a little bit of inspiration. And this quote came from the heart. It actually came from me yesterday. It came to me when I was sitting at home, and it says, "One moment can change a day. One day can change a life, and one life can change the world." And this is so important to me and so special, and I'm going to be introducing Denise in a moment because it's amazing how much of a difference each and every one of us can make in this world and what we can do. And never underestimate your power, never underestimate who you are and what you can accomplish in this world. Every time you touch a person, it makes a big difference. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce today's guest, Miss Denise Otten, and she wrote a book called Curing Courtney. No doctor could save her daughter, so she did, and we're going to talk about the story today. So welcome, Denise Otten. Big round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you, Brenda.
She is the president and founder of Elite Wealth Strategies. Previously, she was a financial advisor for a major Wall Street brokerage firm and a writer for CNBC. A wife and the mother of three, she shares her passion for alternative and holistic remedies and the science that validates them. She wrote Curing Courtney in the hope that the book will empower her readers to find nutritional control, or to take nutritional control of their health and learn about alternative modalities that go beyond the standard medical treatment. So welcome.
Thank you.
I
really appreciate you having me here.
Oh, it's such an honor and a privilege. So tell us a little bit about the book. Your little girl, Courtney, was only 7 years old when she got diagnosed with this autoimmune hepatitis. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, let me just be a little bit more specific. She was diagnosed with autoimmune hepatitis at 7 years old. And at 7 years old, you always expect that your child is going to be perfectly healthy, looking like the perfect cheruby child that you always wanted them to be. And when the doctor told me that she was that sick, I almost died right there in the office because my heart was broken. And I had to listen to them because I'd never heard of autoimmune hepatitis. When you think of hepatitis, you think of what conjures up in your head is a person who has drank too much in their life, and they have a cirrhosed liver, and then they end up dying of hepatitis. And that's what I thought of in my head. So I said, okay, well then what do we do, doctor? You tell me what to do and I'll follow your lead. And I did everything that the doctors told me to do for 5 years, and she was on medication, very strong medication, prednisone and Imuran. That's an immune suppressant drug, for 5 years. You can imagine what it did to her poor little childlike body. At 8 years old, she puffed up to larger than she should be. She grew hair like a man on her face, arms, legs, and body, and her back. And it was very devastating for us, traumatic for her. And at 12 years old, the doctor said, it's not working anymore. We're going to have to give her stronger drugs. And I went, what? No.
That's not going to be the way it is.
Let's think of something else. And I really tried to work with them, and I even begged him if there was any alternative that he knew of in a nutrition community. And by 2007, we had Yahoo, we had a little bit of Google, more Google than before. We had the internet connections that give us information from all over the world. And some doctors did post their protocols on this on the internet connections.
Wow.
And I just said, okay, we have to wait. I do not want to go on with any further treatment. Quite frankly, I wanted to be like Donald Trump and say, you failed, you're fired.
You're out of here. You're
out of here.
Because
but
you
I
went
couldn't.
to the best doctors.
But I couldn't.
And the best doctors in New York City, you looked all over for every alternative, and you were at desperate measures. You didn't know what else to do.
I was a desperate mother who wanted to save her child's life, because the truth is, with hepatitis of any sort, the end result can be liver transplant. And she was very close to possibly having a liver transplant. And the thought of my 12-year-old having a liver transplant was just devastating. I don't want to start crying here, but it really, it takes your heart.
It does take your heart.
you would rather have them take your life and give your child. It was horrible. So I said no, went on the internet, found my research, found the doctors and the science to back it up with vitamins and nutraceuticals, and in 3 months she was well.
Yeah, and this is an interesting fact, and I know a lot of people, do use the internet, and you have to be cautious because I don't want to underestimate the medical community, because doctors in the medical community do a wonderful thing, but there's also so many alternatives that are out there for people to research and to consider, so it's a balance. We talk about balance in our life every day. I'm also a yoga teacher, so we do a lot of balancing there, that it's balancing, nutrition and what we put in our body and exercise and rest and everything else, and, there are, we'll say, Western medicines that are out there that are very useful and very practical and that are very helpful for many people, but we're also finding that there are so many other options out there from the foods that we eat every day, and there's so many fresh organic produce out there and organic foods that we can eat that help to build our bodies up and build our immune systems up. So don't want to totally shoo on the doctors, but just to educate people that there are alternatives and to look and research. And that's really, Denise and I got together and said, this is such a wonderful story when I heard it, and we have a long history. When I used to work in corporate America, I used to call on her in my previous life. But to really be able to go in there and look and be able to share the story, because it is about education, and that's why we're here today and speaking in front of a live audience, because we want to educate people and we want to inform people, because if we're able to change, again, like I said at the beginning, change one life, powerful stuff. Powerful stuff.
What I wanted to do, at first I really was going to be quiet and go back to my New Jersey way of life and being a mother and being a business person, and I didn't want to say anything. I just wanted to hide because my daughter was well, and I didn't want to tell anyone because I was going to be judged that I did something against the medical community. And like everyone else, I just wanted to be left alone with my happy, healthy family. And then as the years went by and she got more beautiful and more healthy, and she's 5'8" and taller than me now, I wanted to share with the world that maybe if I can find a remedy that's holistic and science-based, I did not just make this up in my New Jersey kitchen with some, homeopathic remedies. I did not create it. I'm not a doctor. I found the doctors. I found the science. And I just followed somebody else's successful protocol. And here's the thing, Brenda. I found out from the doctors that I use, this protocol has been successful with reversing, because remember, it's not healing, it's reversing hepatitis, diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, some cancers, even pancreatic and breast in some situations, and rheumatoid arthritis. So, MS also.
Oh, wow.
And so I found the doctors. And if I had found these people in 2003, my daughter wouldn't have had to have the horrors that she had to go through. She would have had a normal childhood. But she didn't, and she had to go through some struggles, but thank God she's alive, and that's all that matters now.
Yeah, and an important thing, too, and I always point this out, maybe I always look at the glass as half full, but, we go through struggles in life. It's no different than like a seed being planted in the dirt, right? It has to struggle to get up through the dirt to get to the sunlight. We all have to go through that little bit of struggle, and even though it's like it was tough for you, and it's like I cried about this because it touched me so much when I first heard the story, but it's those struggles that we have in our life that really give us the opportunity to grow, to see how we show up, to see what we're made of, and if we're going to either, what was the saying I heard, you either become better or you become bitter. And I thought that was a great saying. You can either say, wow, this is something that I'm able to learn and how I'm able to grow, or am I going to turn off and become bitter and angry about it? And we always have a choice. We always have a choice that we show up. And even though Courtney had to go through that, and we're going to talk a little bit on the second half here about what transpired, and it's a beautiful story, and it makes you have a big old smile face on your face. But it gave her an opportunity that she's grown in that way, and it even makes her more beautiful and glowing. And you can see on the cover of the book, I mean, the two of you, it's like mother and daughter. It looks like two sisters, so just beautiful.
And that's just it. It's just that I was so grateful that she's alive. And we all take our little, healthy family members for granted. But when you have a sick child and they make a reversal and they turn around, you just you can't scream it loud enough. You want to share it with the world. And if I can help one person, like you said, and by the way, I've met some people along the way who listened to me, and they went and they did their research, and they found their doctors, and they reversed their hepatitis, their autoimmune hepatitis, and I'm so thrilled that I could help them. So if I can help any one of you, all I'm saying,
We'll take a commercial break. This is Brenda O'Donnell, InspiredLivingByBrenda.com. Thank you again for being here today. Welcome back, everyone. This is Brenda O'Donnell with InspiredLivingByBrenda.com. Again, thank you for being here. We're recording live for a rebroadcast, if I can say that easy. It's 2013 home show here in Daytona Beach, brought to you by the Daytona Beach News Journal. And thank you so much again for being there. And Denise Otten is my guest. Wrote Curing Courtney, that we're talking about how she was able to cure, well, we don't even say cure, it's maybe that. It's able to reverse.
Yes,
reverse the autoimmune hepatitis of her daughter. Amazing and beautiful story. So welcome, Denise, and thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me again.
One of the quotes in the book that really stood out for me, I'm a huge quote person. People who know me will realize that. Quotes just touch my heart. And this jumped out at me when I read the book. Crisis serves not only as a powerful teacher, but also as a catalyst for change. And I spoke about that a little bit in the first half of the show, that it really is important. We all need that little bit of push to find our strength and find our courage and find out how powerful we are. And Denise spoke a little bit about the research she did on the internet, and I want to talk about the story because it's a neat story. When she searched on the internet, she found LaDonna. She was the wife of a preacher in Texas, I believe.
Yes.
And she was ready. I mean, her liver, 85%, I believe, was gone, and she was on a liver transplant list and was not in good shape.
No. I actually was looking desperately to heal my daughter, and I went on the internet, and with no prejudices in mind, and everyone would say, I've had people come say, well, you're just a New Jersey housewife, and you just have connections to New York City people. And I went, no. The woman that I found, the one person that helped me save my daughter, was this beautiful Texas Christian woman who was the wife of a Christian minister in Texas. And she healed herself of autoimmune hepatitis, rheumatoid arthritis, thyroidism, and diabetes with this protocol. She was almost dead. 85% of her liver was non-functioning. That means she's almost dead.
Yeah.
Liver transplant list. She reversed her autoimmune hepatitis within 9 months. So I just held on to her. We became best of friends, and she helped me through this horrible ordeal every single week.
Wow.
And we got through it, and in 3 months, my daughter's autoimmune hepatitis went into remission, and that was 5 years ago. And now she's healthy, beautiful, and now we have traditional teenager fights. And I'm so happy to have them.
It's a blessing, right?
I'm just so happy that she could fight with me.
And it's so neat, again, the power of one and how important, and to never underestimate your power and what you're able to do. I mean, then she led you to Dr. Berkson and many other people that are still an important, part of your life and what it's been able to offer to you.
She didn't create it in her Texas kitchen. I didn't create it in my Texas, in my New Jersey house. We are not just a whole bunch of women just, sitting around having coffee. We're trying to find the best people out there that have the knowledge, that have done the science, that have done the research, and they're healing people. You just don't know about them. So the book brings you the information. It brings you the whole protocol of a doctor. It brings you the whole diet. It brings you restrictions. It brings you the things not to do. And it also brings you the science. Go read it yourself. Please, don't believe me. Read it yourself. Figure it out yourself. But the book puts it all together for you, and it's fast reading, and it's